In this, the first issue of the new Apparatus Newsreel, you'll see applications of static control, an I-60-meter certification report, a special feature on service shops, and more, much more. Hello, I'm Ted Vaughn, your Apparatus Newsreel announcer. And this is Ernie Tatro, who will be working with me. Hi there. No doubt you've been hearing a lot about this new newsreel, so rather than to take any more time talking about it, we'll just get right down to work. Ernie, you have something to start us off with?
Right, Ted. We have a few items from around the country. Texas. At Fort Stockton, the Great Western Drilling Company's rig is setting new records. The electric drilling equipment built by the Locomotive and Car Equipment Department in Erie offers economy of operation and fuel savings up to 25%. And because of the efficiency of the electrical drive, the rig is way ahead of schedule in drilling the world's deepest oil well to a proposed depth of over 22,000 feet. Here's a field report from the Direct Current Motor and Generator Department in Erie. The department announces a new training course on package speed variators. Officially named the Familiarization and Accelerated Sales Training Course, its students are district sales personnel who are responsible for the sale of speed variators. During the 16-hour training program, selling features, markets, and applications are covered by department personnel. At the conclusion of the first course, O.L. Dunn, general manager of the department, held an informal session where specific district problems were discussed. A good course designed to help district sales engineers secure more of the important and growing speed variator market. Schenectady, an item from the small AC motor department, which will be of special interest to men who handle applications requiring part-winding start motors, particularly air conditioning applications like this one in the Armco building in Atlanta, Georgia. For the first time, all General Electric standard TriClad 55 motors up through 125 horsepower can be readily connected for part-winding starting applications. And this can be done without any sacrifice in full load operating characteristics. And these standard motors are available immediately. An internal campaign is underway to familiarize everyone with the technical details of this new design feature. And customers are reading about it in full-page ads appearing in air conditioning magazines. You're now in a position to grab off a good portion of the part-winding start motor business, and at the same time do it with standard warehouse stocks. And that's about all there is from here, Ted.
Thanks, Ernie. We've asked Ray Topper of the Rectifier Department in Lynchburg to join us today. Ray, we're mighty glad you could make it.
Thank you, Ted. I'm real glad to be here and be able to explain a little bit about our increased activity in my product areas.
Fine. Where would you like to begin?
Well, Ted, if I can get two main points established today. Number one, that we are in the power supply business, and number two, that this is a real growing market. I don't feel that everyone has a complete understanding of our contributions in this particular product area today.
Well, why is there this lack of understanding, Ray?
Well, traditionally, Ted, we just built small component rectifiers. Today, we are taking those rectifiers along with many other components, and we're putting them into power supplies like this new transistorized power supply here, and also into very large systems for customers such as IBM and Remington Rand in the computer area. Based on this, we feel that we can really strike out as leaders today in this very large rising market.
How large a market is this you're talking about in dollars and cents?
Well, that's another major point I wanted to bring out. We feel that this market will hit $40 million by 1960, and we feel today that we have an edge towards being leaders in this particular market.
You say you have an edge. Why do you have an edge, Ray?
Well, for really three reasons. Number one, our engineering background and experience, and number two, our complete manufacturing facilities, and number three, we feel we have competitive proposition and competitive delivery service on all of these products.
Now, is the computer field the only large user of this type of equipment?
That's one of the largest fields, but I think that we can say that the field broadly covers all of the communications and electronics industries and the aircraft industry.
Well, Ray, I think you've made your points very clear. Is there any final word you'd like to leave with us?
Well, I think that we can't possibly go over model by model each one of our power supply ratings, but I think we can broadly state that the Rectifier Department is prepared to give you a proposal on any power supply going from AC to DC, DC to DC, or DC to AC in the field of static conversion.
Well, good, Ray. Thanks a lot for coming down and talking to us, and I hope you'll drop in again sometime with some more news about this interesting market of yours.
It was a real pleasure, Ted. Thank you very much.
Right. Say, Ernie, didn't you say you had some sort of a weather report or climate report?
Oh, yes, a climate report, Ted, but I decided not to do it myself. You see, I have an assistant who handles that sort of thing for me.
What do you mean?
This is your Regulator sales climate report. In Tacoma, the Regulator sales climate is fine. A $10,000 order signed after one cheer-up presentation. In Denver, Regulator sales are hot. And in Cleveland, customer temperatures are very high. But in some districts, customers have been cool to regulators. So in Pittsfield, there is a high-pressure program building, something that will make your regulator sales climb like the temperature in Atlanta. Keep a weather eye out for this big, hot sales climate program. It's coming to you from the Voltage Regulator Products section in Pittsfield. See you later, Regulator.
Well, this report is part of the Regulator Sales Climate Program.
See you later, Regulator?
Ted, what do you have for us now?
Oh, let's see here. What do we have up next? Oh, yes, is Clem Sutton here?
Yes, he is, Ted.
Oh, morning, Clem.
Good morning, Ted.
For those of you who don't know this gentleman, this is Clem Sutton, Marketing Manager of the Service Shops Department. Clem, in the last issue of the newsreel, we promised our audience that in this issue we'd include a feature story that they could use for customer showing. And true to our word, we're going to do just that. And as you know, Clem, our feature in this issue is on the Service Shops Department. But before we run the film, I'd like to ask you how you feel our salesmen can best use this film.
Well, Ted, there are many ways that they can get good use out of this feature we're about to see. For example, this film could be shown at agents and distributors' meetings, perhaps in conjunction with your other film series, the sales reel. Or it could be used at customer presentations where other films are being shown on a specific product. Another opportunity might be as a spot item at general customer sales meetings, and I'm sure that we can expect our apparatus sales division salesmen can find many opportunities to use a real good, strong story on service.
Now, which customers do you think would be most interested in this film?
Well, Ted, I'd say just about all of them. For example, users, CID, A&DI customers, well, practically anyone who uses electrical apparatus. In many of our apparatus proposals, as you probably know, we have a section that deals specifically with service. And this little film clip could help highlight our service capabilities.
All right, Clem. And now, before we show the film, let me emphasize that copies of this feature can be made available in each district sales office. Okay, Jim, roll it. This was Hurricane Hazel, 1955. By the time she was through, she had washed and blown down $150 million worth of industry in 6 northeastern states. She roared in, and she hated everyone. But in some ways, it seemed that most of all, she hated electrical apparatus. Picking up the pieces after Hazel blew out to sea was quite a job for General Electric service personnel. However, this was no baptism of fire. Past experience and know-how on their part resulted in getting many plants rolling and back in production in very short order. In many instances, the reconditioning of whole plants was accomplished as our people moved in and relieved the customer of the necessity of looking for various maintenance services to restore his plant. A hurricane, of course, is an extreme test of service, but it helps us to highlight the fact that General Electric has studied every type of apparatus service problem and is geared to help you solve those problems. These service studies are continually coming up with new and better ways of doing things. As an example, here to tell us about a new concept in motor repair is Clem Sutton, Manager of Marketing, General Electric Service Shops Department. Clem, we're awfully glad you're able to be here this morning.
Nice to be here, Ted. I think we've got a good story for your audience. First, let's talk about what's considered the fastest AC motor repair service that can be offered by any service organization. We can completely rewind a typical AC random wound motor in 12 hours or less. This just about cuts in half the usual time for this type of repair. This rapid repair is accomplished by an 8-step method which eliminates all waste motions and processing. Step 1 is the disassembly of the motor to find out what needs to be done. At step 2, the stator is blast cleaned to provide a smooth base for paint. Now in step 3, replacement coils are manufactured to meet the specifications of the motor. With no lost time, we move to step 4 where the stator is carefully wound by experienced winders. The entire stator is now ready for dipping in a new General Electric varnish. The varnish used in this dipping helps to provide better performance because it improves the dielectric value of the windings. This is the 5th step of the cycle. After dipping, varnish is cured by a new individual baking process which uses GE quartz lamps. Bearing assembly and final assembly make up step 7 of this amazingly rapid overhaul. Our last and 8th step is to give the motor a thorough testing. Now, less than 12 hours after arrival, the motor is ready to start on its way back to the customer.
Well, I'd say this process allows you to move right along. Clem, thanks a lot for coming down and telling us about it.
I've enjoyed it, Ted.
Now let's take a look at some other aspects of this AC motor repair service. You get increased savings since such fast service cuts losses and costly downtime. You get our usual warranty on all parts and repairs that you'd get with a brand new motor. And you're assured of skillful repair brought about by the experience of our personnel. But this AC motor story is just one highlight of the service shop's report. Ernie Tatro here will interview someone who will fill us in on more of the service story. Ernie, it's all yours.
Ted, this is Mr. H.F. McCullough, General Manager of the Service Shops Department. And he has some interesting notes on this service story.
Ernie, service has really come into its own during the past year. Management is placing more and more emphasis on maintenance and repair as being the key to a profitable operation. They also know that during the current economic breathing spell, it is necessary to renovate doubtful overaged equipment in preparation for the production upswing expected later on this year. On this basis, then, service is a product in itself, and we offer it as a product. We sell it with these 4 product benefits. Let's take a look at them. On-time service, reasonable prices, versatile repair facilities, extensive supporting services. When minutes mean money in the form of lost production time for our customers, we work day and night in our shops or in their plants to get things rolling as fast as possible. We deliver dependable, timely service when needed, whether in emergencies or on a planned basis, and we know our prices are reasonable.
That's quite a process working there. What is it anyway?
They're working on a turbine field, and this helps show that our shops are well equipped. We can do anything from repairing a small motor to the overhaul of a turbine. You were talking about hurricanes here a while ago. Well, service like that is made possible when our 50-odd shops pool their efforts. This also works to the advantage of a customer who has plants in many areas. Backing up our service shops, of course, are the entire facilities of the General Electric Company. That's our story briefly, Ernie. But don't take it from my say-so alone. We know for a fact that our customers are realizing the economies of planned maintenance, overhaul, and repair of equipment. Why don't you ask one of them?
That's a good idea, and I think we can do that right now. How about it, Ted?
Yes, we can, Ernie. Milt Young, manager of our Philadelphia service shop, has a visitor he'd like to have speak to us.
Ted, I'd like to have you meet Mr. William Bomboy, plant engineer of the Riverside Alloy Metals Division of the H.K. Porter Company Incorporated at Riverside, New Jersey. We serviced a motor a short time ago for Mr. Bomboy.
Recently, we had a failure in a 7.5 horsepower gear motor, which is an important part of a $1 million rolling mill. This failure shut down the entire mill. We turned the motor over to General Electric service shop at 4 p.m. They rewound it and had the motor ready for us at 5 a.m. the next morning. Just 11 hours later, we were very pleased with this service.
Thank you, Mr. Young and Mr. Bomboy. This has been a very brief report on the facilities and capabilities of the General Electric service shops, which stand ready to help you, whether it is in time of emergency or a routine maintenance job. For the best in electrical service, whether it be a 1/4 horsepower motor or a 5,000 kilowatt generator, call upon your General Electric service salesman. He can advise and help you with your service problems. Service is our business. Well, what did you think of it, Clem?
Fine, Ted, and I think it'll do a real job in telling our service shop story.
Well, we think so, too. And thanks a lot for coming down.
Thank you.
And our Ernie Tatro has told me he's come up with a new way to sell electrical apparatus, motors in particular. And I guess he's ready over there. I haven't seen this yet, but I'll bet we're in for a lesson in hard sell. Okay, Ernie, let's see what you have for us over there.
Come in a little closer, friend. Let's get better acquainted. You say your textile motors are full of lint? You say you got your motors in the repair shop more than you got your motors in the plant? Tell you what I'm going to do, friend. I'm going to introduce you to our all-new, totally enclosed, fan-cooled, exclusively designed GE TriClad 55 textile motors. I can see by the look in your eye, friend, that you like what you see. Well, now, the best is yet to come. Yes, sirree, this baby comes with ratings of 7.5 through 25 HP, that's horsepower, and she'll spin at 900, 1200, and 1800 RPMs. That's revolutions per minute. Now, I'll tell you how they're used, friend. Spinning frames, roving frames, pickers, opening equipment, and all other, yes, I said all other textile mill applications. You know, friend, believe it or not, but I used to sell little mechanical men. But I had to give that racket up when GE came out with this textile motor, which virtually eliminates all motor cleaning. I've got just what you want to see here, friends. Don't touch the merchandise, but move in closer. The big secret, and you have an honest face, friend, is in the end shield. The large smooth air vents permit complete expulsion of lint. The wide bosses help prevent lint collection. The smooth fan hub features snap ring construction with no nuts or bolts. The smoothly contoured casting minimizes lint adhesion. And stay with me, friend. The shroudless 12-blade fan forces lint through surrounding vents. Friend, the highest praise I can give these motors is to say they have all the standard features of the TriClad 55 motor. There are 3 things I believe in, friend. Motherhood, the flag, and the TriClad 55. It's all right here in this GEA 6795. Take this, friend, and bring it home to the kiddies. Friend, before we sit down and write up the orders, let me add that GE has a complete line of textile motors in the 1 to 5 HP range. The small integral motor department makes these in a totally enclosed, non-ventilated construction. Friend, since I like you, and I do, you know, remember that we also have a new TriClad screenless open motor for applications above 30 HP. This complete line of motors is also adaptable for cotton gin applications. What's that, friend? You say my motor pitch is fine, but you want to know more about the mechanical men? Friend, I'm afraid you haven't been paying strict attention. Now, let's run through that again. Now, I realize this approach has its limitations, Ted, but what do you think?
Well, it shows spirit, Ernie. But seriously, tell your textile customers about these new motors. Remember, GE now has a full line of motors specifically designed for the textile industry. And now here's news for utility sales engineers from the meter department in Somersworth, New Hampshire. Certification comes to the new General Electric I-60 Class 200 single-phase watt-hour meter. At this special test station, the I-60s are given their last checking over for visual flaws. The covers are put on, and they are stamped with a certification label. This exclusive seal covers accuracy within severely defined limits and means that the meters are 99 9/10% free from defects which might cause improper registration or operation. This automatic direct reading, testing, and calibrating panel is the nerve center of the I-60 production line. This equipment, which was designed by the meter department and in the future may be manufactured for resale to utilities who test their own meters, is used to adjust the meters so that average accuracy at all loads is within 0.1% of a reference kilowatt hour. Behind I-60 certification stands an impressive manufacturing and testing story, which strikes a good balance between fully automatic machine operations and equally precise, skilled handwork. One point to be emphasized, however, is that certification is not the culmination of a series of improvements in I-60 manufacturing and testing. Every I-60 meter made and sold since the very first is of the same high caliber as those now being certified. The awarding of the certification seal has to wait until a certain backlog of test data and performance statistics has accumulated. In fact, it is on the basis of the uncertified meter's performance that certification is now being granted. All you utility sales engineers know what certification can mean to your customers in time and money saved on as-received testing procedures. Now, to help you get this idea across to your customers, there will be 2 ads announcing that the exclusive certification seal has been awarded to the I-60 watt-hour meter. An external mailer, The Awful Truth About Bar X and Sigma, and an internal mailer centered around the cutout ad. A certification of the I-60 Class 200 watt-hour meter is further evidence of General Electric's continuing leadership in the industry. And now, Ernie, if you've put away your carnival outfit, how about that story from the General Purpose Control Department?
Okay, Ted. This is a report on significant applications of the department's static control equipment. At Ann Arbor, Michigan, the Burr Machine Tool Company readies the first of 2 large transfer machines for the automotive industry. These units manufacture transmission rear extension housings, and they'll be installed at Ford Motor Company's plant in Sharonville, Ohio. An integral part of each unit is Panatrol, a control panel equipped with static control from GE's General Purpose Control Department in Bloomington, Illinois. When installed, it will be one of the largest such static control panels in operation. General Electric also supplies equipment motors, components for the machines themselves, and components for consoles built by other manufacturers. Basically, static control is a method of electrically controlling machine functions with logic elements and accessories. Reliability is assured because static control logic elements have no moving parts. Because parts are not subject to wear or erosion, the life of logic elements is greater than equivalent relays. Use of screw-type terminals and printed circuits make GE static control easy to install. Maintenance is simple because of the plug-in construction of each element and the visible indication given by a monitor light attached to each element. In Detroit, the F. Joseph Lamb Company also readies equipment for the same Ford plant. This particular machine manufactures front pump bodies for automobile transmissions. Again, static control is the electrical control used. The static control elements perform the same functions a relay does in a magnetic control. But static control does not have any moving parts, and it does not emit any noise. Control is accomplished, but all that's visible is the blinking of lights. General Electric static control offers higher reliability and longer life than conventional relays. It's easy to install and maintain, and it practically eliminates costly downtime. All these advantages point to a rapid, diversified use of this proven control.
Thanks, Ernie, for a very interesting report on static control. Well, I'm sure you recognize these gentlemen: Vern Ridbeck, ASD Headquarters, and Paul Vest, Medium Transformer Department. Paul and Vern are here to discuss with us the AIM for RM program in 58. Paul, I can think of no better way to open this discussion than to ask you, what is the AIM for RM program in 1958?
Ted, the real success of our RM medium transformer business lies in a large volume of standard design transformers, which our Rome plant can make with great efficiency. In the last few years, we've seen this level off to only about 35% of our total volume. This year, our goal is to increase standards by about 10%.
I see. Well, now, Vern, let me ask you, what does the success of this program mean to the customer?
It means several things, Ted. It means better shipments, better service, simplified ordering, and ultimately it means lower prices, saving our utility customers millions of dollars.
Fine. Now, Paul, does this standardization plan in any way affect the REA market?
Very definitely, Ted. We find many of the REAs have grown to where they're a good market for Rome-sized transformers.
And to this market in 58, we're stressing product quality, ease of purchase, and ease of installation.
Oh, wonderful, gentlemen. Now, let me ask you this. We've heard the aim of the RM program and what it will accomplish. Now, I'd like to ask you, what assurance do you have that this program of yours will get off the ground?
Oh, I'm quite enthusiastic there, Ted. Earlier this year, I visited all our districts for several months. I had the opportunity to sit down with the district managers, their sales managers, and many of the sales engineers who handle the utility and REA markets. I'm convinced they're behind our program and that we will make our goal of 10% more standards in 1958.
All right. Do you go along with that, Vern?
Absolutely, Ted. Our district written sales plans tell how we will accomplish these objectives. We've taken several large utilities for special emphasis. We're in complete agreement with the objectives and 100% behind them.
All right, that's the blueprint. Now, what specific tools will your salesmen have to help you accomplish this objective?
This sales kit, Ted, is loaded with the ammunition and selling information that our utility sales engineers will use with their customers. We have a similar kit that will be used by those sales engineers and agents who handle the REA market. I'm convinced we will get our goal of 10% more standards in 1958.
Well, I'm sure you will. And gentlemen, we surely want to thank you for coming here and talking with us about your AIM for RM program for 58.
Thank you, Ted, for the opportunity.
We certainly appreciate it.
Not at all, gentlemen. This is exactly what our newsreel is designed for.
Well, I guess that's it, Ted.
Yes, Ernie, I guess that wraps up the first edition of the new newsreel. So until the next issue, this is Ted Bond
And Ernie Tatro
saying so long.